First of all, I'm going to say that this is April 1st, 1979. And I want to know, where were you born exactly, as far as you could tell?
I was born Austria, Galicia. Austria, Galicia. And I drove to
When you say Austria, Galicia, there's no such place now. You know, the map does not show a place. There's Austria, there's Poland, there's Russia. No, the way it is now, they called it Austria, Galicia then.
Yeah.
But if you had to find it on the map now, where would it be?
Well, I see there's so much change.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
My cousin came from Europe, and she says so much change that you wouldn't recognize it.
Yeah.
Between the country changed. So I'm not sure if they call it Poland now. Where I
Yeah,
come
even
from.
people who were born in Poland don't know if it's still
Yeah,
Poland
yeah,
where they came.
yeah.
Well, where you came from
See,
then,
and-
was that, what kind, who did it belong to? Was it a Polish-speaking place, Ukrainian?
Well, I was born, there was no different language in our village, only Ukrainian. Ukrainian priest and Ukrainian people. And like different people, of course there was Jewish people that they had stores and so on. And there was, like a man would go to the service and meet in big city, a woman, and she was Polish. Well, they came to that place, they were going to the same church, Ukrainian church. Yeah. Because I remember that lady, how I wouldn't know why those people, that lady was Polish, but I know the man went to, was born in the land where I was born, and when he grew up, he went to the service big city, he met a woman, and he got married there, and she came and to that village. And how I know, because they bought a piece of land of my father, where my father lived, and that's why I know that lady was Polish and was born, I don't know if she was born, they call it Lwów in Polish, in German called Lemberg.
Okay, but so then where you came from, the language was Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not Russian.
No,
No,
that wasn't
and it's not
Russian.
Polish. It's a
You
language
see,
of its own,
when
Ukrainian.
when I was born,
Does it sound like Lithuanian? Is it something like
no,
that?
no, there
No,
wasn't.
it's a language of its own.
No, no
Okay.
Lithuanian. I didn't never hear the Lithuanian until I came to this country.
All right. Now
But
you
it-
just said that somebody bought some land from your father. Does that mean that your father owned a lot of land?
Oh no, my father didn't own it a lot of land, but they the space suit them to live like because they didn't put the one house here, one part and the country for the. They had houses all like one by another. See?
Like on a street like this? you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And
Okay. Well, then your father owned some land.
oh yeah, yeah. My father owns some.
Okay. Now, what I want to know is, what year were you born in?
I don't remember exactly what year I was born, but I was born 1897, 1897, 96, 97, because I know my sister was much older than me,
Your sister Susan?
about 40 years, between 3 or 4 years she was, but I don't know what year she was born, because she, she passed away, Auntie Susie.
Yeah.
So the girl said she was 85 years old. She passed away last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll say
It's-
was about 3 years older than
Yeah.
you. Okay, now, the place that you lived in, your father, was it a farm?
Well, all the people that live in that village, the name was called Zalano.
What, the name of the village?
No, because
The name of the village was
village yeah.
Zalanov? Say that again. The name of the village.
Zalano.
Zalanov. Okay.
Zalano. Or
Okay.
you could say it in Zalano, because Z-A, not E, A. Let's call it R. See, that's why they call Zalano, no.
All right, now tell me what your father did.
And as I remember, my father was born there, because my father, see, there where I was born, that was my mother's place, where place. But my father lived further, because that's just like the street. That's the way there was buildings, the people lived, and then more, a lot of people had a land a little further up, so, and because they were
Oh, you mean
living
not
off
not
the land.
not on the land, like where they lived was not necessarily the land that they worked.
No,
No,
no.
that land would be. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, like their farmland was further away.
It's,
Okay.
it was just like you would say the street. And the houses, they have a little garden. Everybody had a little garden. The plant like early spring things like salad, radishes, things like that, cucumbers. That was all raised by close to the house. So when you needed like that, something radishes or cucumbers, then you come out from the
And just
house.
pick it,
and
yeah.
so,
Okay, now tell me what your father did for a living.
well, my father, I remember he was a watchman for that village. So he used to get little pension. He would then live
A
quiet.
watchman? What do you mean a watchman?
Watchman, like they have by the church or by the school watchman or police watching, and this, he wasn't watching all the time, just nights. At
You mean
night
like
time.
he walked around?
Yeah,
He walked around
He
at
was
night?
walking around like, and then he would holler, whistling, if it was howling,
Beware.
beware of fire and beware of, robbery, and so he was whistling.
Were they afraid
walking around.
for animals? Were there wild animals or anything like that? No.
No, the
No,
people
okay.
I know, they were all like brothers and sisters, but they all went to Century, and I remember most of them there, Ukraine. They
So
did
that's what he did for a living, and other than that, he was not a farmer? I don't know why, I thought he was a farmer.
He was most living from the village, from his own raising, because I know they had a cow and that they had a milk.
Okay. But that was just for yourself, it wasn't for somebody else,
No, no,
just
no.
for you to live off. Okay, and then
what-
what money was from the watchman?
But we, like buying some different things, like woods, and I buy. So this way, what my mother used to, when we had a cow, my mother used to make water, and she sold some water, and my mother, they had raised the chickens, she sold some eggs, so that's how she
A
used to
little
get
money, yeah.
other things, yeah. Or like we had to buy oil for the light,
Yeah, for the
so
lamps.
that all the money came from it. And
Okay, what was your father's name?
Stephen,
And his last name?
Stephen Mikhailov.
Okay,
Step-
and your mother was his second wife?
First wife,
Oh, your mother was his first wife.
first wife.
Oh, and then Susie was the first child? No? Was she the oldest in the family?
And this, no, my mother had 2 children before my sister Susan was born. Those 2 children died.
Oh, I see.
The first one was named Catherine.
Did she die when she was a baby or?
Yeah,
okay.
baby, I don't
All right,
remember.
that was Catherine.
And the second was Nicholas. See, I never saw them, never
Oh,
know.
they both died
Just
before.
that Auntie Susie was telling me.
Okay.
See, but I know what the name was.
Okay, then Susie
And
came
then
next.
Susie was the third, I was the fourth. And another little girl her name was Mary.
3 girls.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she would have.
Mother, isn't that funny? Your mother had 4 girls and 1 boy,
Yeah,
and you had 4 girls that lived
yeah,
and 1 boy. Is
yeah.
that right? 4? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, because Will is the oldest, Ruth is the youngest of the
Yeah,
girls,
okay.
and Bob is
Okay.
the youngest child. But you see, my mother had the second one. First was Catherine, and then the boy Nicholas.
Okay, so then really, it just wound up with just you 2 girls.
Yeah, but the first one, as I remember, the first one lived 9 days, and the second one lived 3 days. See, and
Was your mother a well woman? Was she?
no, she
sickly?
wasn't a husky strong woman. My stepmother was husky strong woman.
First, tell me more about your mother. Was she young when she died? She must have been pretty young.
Oh, well, she was young because, I know that I was going to school because I remember how she used to take my hand, show me how to write my name, the initials at first.
What did you write? Did you write Ukrainian?
Ukrainian.
Uh-huh. Did you have kindergarten there?
No,
When you
no
went to school?
kindergarten, just the first grade.
When did you start first grade, like they do here?
6.
6 years
6
old.
years
same
old.
thing.
And 6 years old, first year, first class Ukrainian, and the second grade learned Polish.
Ah.
Yeah, Polish. Because Ukrainian was just in the village, but Polish was in the city, churchmen and all was.
So they didn't speak any German there at all?
No,
that was the
nobody
language.
spoke German in that
Okay.
that city where I belonged to, and that village where I was born. It was all Polish. And that city where we belonged, that was small city. So those people that were rich, well off, could send the children to high school, that send it to big school, to different cities where they learn German. See, because they was,
Yeah.
but.
And that's why you speak Polish so well then, because you heard
Yeah.
it when you were
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
Okay,
See,
now,
I
well-
speak Polish because I learned how to read Polish
when you were in the second
in
grade, yeah.
school, and then when I was working for the people, lady was Polish, and
Well, let's go back now. So your mother had Susan, your sister Susie, and then you, and then Mary. And Mary was only a little girl when she died.
Mary was only a little girl, and what happened? You see, we in Europe, like my mother went to church, and she left me with the little girl.
How old were
I
you?
don't know. She was, but she was walking, and she was little. Maybe she was year and a half, or
Very little.
couldn't have been any more than 2 years old. And but you know, like really belongs to church, and they're like sisters who they have something to
Yeah.
do. And my mother, she, I don't know if my sister went to school, and I was home with the baby. And my mother was in home, and my sister wanted something to eat. And that was in the summertime. How they used to cook. They had such a ring with a string, and put the pot on it and cook on it. And my mother cooked a meal that was, I don't remember, but
What,
was soup,
from
whatever.
wood, a wood fire, you mean?
Wood fire,
Oh, wood fire,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's how they used to have it, a wood fire. And I don't know, I must have put the little girl close to the, where I didn't see it. I thought that was ashes already. And afterwards, slowly, somehow, the rest caught on fire.
Gee, that's funny that she left you when you were so young to take care of a little
Yeah.
sister. You were not even in school yet.
Oh,
You were
no,
just a little
no, I
kid.
didn't go to school yet then.
Mm.
See. And so my mother was afterwards very sorry. You know, had that sorrow
Yeah.
on her heart.
Like she
So
should
my
have
s-
known better, but
Yeah, that's what my sister said, and Susan. She says that's on account of that. She was so sorry
heartbroken,
for
yeah.
it. She was sorry for the baby that passed
Well,
away.
she got
But
burned so badly that,
she didn't get burned. Only she got frightened. See, she got frightened, a little girl, and they took her to the doctor, but she was so frightened that I don't know what happened there. So then the little girl passed away. See. But I remember that I was young, but I don't remember how the funeral was.
yeah, because you
But-
were very
yeah.
little, yeah.
But I remember what happened, but because, and my mother had those sorrows, what happened, because she was such a pretty little girl.
Yeah.
And my mother, as you say, the mother has a sorrow, why did that happen to me? And besides, she couldn't blame herself, she didn't go anywhere to
Yeah,
dance
yes.
or
She
anything
wasn't
like
out for a
that. She
bad thing,
went
she
to
was out for a
church,
good
see.
thing, yeah.
Because like sisters, what the sisters, and usual there, they had a meeting, and they used to make
That was
candles
a Catholic church then.
from church, yeah,
That was a Catholic church.
yeah, yeah.
Where was your father then? Do you know where your father was?
Well, he might be on the field working.
Sure.
Yeah, he might be in a garden working or further up because he had a piece of land in one place that was a half a mile and a piece of land that was 2 miles away and he know that all the pieces of land where that belonged to him. See?
So okay, then after that happened, your mother must have been
My mother
heartbroken.
was very sorry.
And what, she
one
got sick
couldn't
after
forget. And my sister all the time said that's unkind of that she took it so hard. Why that had happened to her that she, the little girl passed away. And they took her to the doctor, to the city, but before they took her to the doctor, the little girl might be frightened from all that, and because I don't remember, she didn't die right then.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
died maybe a little later, but she passed away. And my mother was so sorrowful for her, and my sister said that she must have passed away on time of that.
So she didn't live too long after that then, your
Yeah.
mother?
No.
Hmm.
Because I know I just started to go to school and she used to show me how to write. And I don't remember that's how long ago the little girl passed away. But when my mother passed away, and my stepmother was a widow, see.
Can you remember that really, or just that somebody told you?
No, I remember.
You remember?
She was widow, and my father used to go at night time like watchman, and sometimes she used to call him in
Aha!
to have a little talk or so. And he
Come
got
in and have a cup of
like
coffee
that
and
with
get
the-
warmed up, Mr. Mihailo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's how he got married. Because in Susie, she said she could have cooked herself. She could do things. She didn't have to get married. But
A
just
man
like
wants a
what-
woman
Yeah.
to take care of the house. Do
Yeah.
you remember, was she pretty like your mother, or?
No, she was a strong, husky woman, I remember.
And she had how many children?
She had 4 children.
4.
Yeah, she had an oldest daughter. I don't know if she was older of my sister Susie. You know, I used to say all the time, Lillian in Jamaica,
Yeah.
that was her oldest daughter.
Okay, Lillian.
And another one was Sophie. She, I don't know, because I didn't hear from her. She came to this country and she was living with, close to her sister in Jamaica. And then she went to where they went, because my stepsister did not die. Her husband passed away, and her husband passed away, and she went to Florida, no, to Canada.
Well, go back to your stepmother. What was her name? Do you remember what her name was?
Mine,
Your stepmother.
stepmother's
Yeah.
name? Her maiden name, I remember, because I used to work in that village when I was older, and I know where she was born, and I know the whole people's names. So her maiden name was Mary Teresa,
What was she? Was she Ukrainian?
Ukrainian, yeah.
Okay.
Teresa.
Mary Barada. And then she got married,
got
and what was her
married.
name then?
Her name, she married, her husband's name was Popik.
Say that again?
Paw Pig.
Popick, okay.
Yes.
All right, so she had 4 children.
She had four
Okay,
children.
now tell me about you. When she moved in with her 4 children, do you remember? Can you remember a wedding?
Well, the oldest one, she was working for some people.
You said the oldest one was the same age as Susie.
As Susie, but Susie 40 years older from me. See?
So Susie would have been maybe 10, 11?
Yeah.
And
Well,
this girl
I
that was the same age would be working?
I know I went, like babysitting for other people.
Oh, all
See,
right.
that's what people used to babysit because they have to go.
So
in the
when you
field.
say that the oldest girl was working, does that mean that she worked and she came home, or did she stay someplace overnight? You know what I mean? Did she have to sleep
Well,
there?
you see, in Europe we had a little house just like Shandy, and there was one big room, and then another little room where you cook, and then a little hall like from the room right away to the hall. See, and that's all that was, and.
So like you all slept in the same big room?
And all the same room. And we didn't have no beds. We used to bring straw in the house. And the bundles, it was all the time bundled up and bring straw in the house and put on the straw and put the sheet on it, and we slept like that.
Well, when you said there was another room, you said there was another room where you cooked?
And there was just no room, just
This
like
one
a
big,
little...
this one big room that you used, did you eat in that room?
Yeah.
And you slept in that room? And of course you did not watch television or radio, because there wasn't there.
Oh, no, there was nobody knows. Well, but they had a harmonica, which play those...
Not an accordion. One of those little things.
Yeah, accordion.
A small thing.
Well, they used to
it
go
goes in and
like
out,
that,
but it's smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so they did that. What, neighbors came over and you...
Well, I never remember neighbors coming over together. When they had something, they always had it in church hall.
Oh, so everybody
Yeah,
gets
in church hall, and having somebody for this, or electing somebody for that. So that was, there was a room by the church that they had it.
So then when your father married this lady, and she came with all these children and herself, you must have been pretty crowded in this little room, in one big room.
Yeah.
And so everybody had these straw things all over the room?
Well, we were sleeping in like a bench, here bench on this side, bench on that side. We didn't have no chairs.
Well, you didn't sleep on the floor then. You slept on a bench.
Yeah, we slept
on the floor also.
See, like I remember. There was like a room was built like was more like a oven was built, big thing, and then inside where my mother used to bake the bread. So over that, was painted and with white paint, and we used to sleep in there. That was high up, but like me and my sister, that was all right. But afterwards, when my stepmother came, Well, we had to sleep on the floor. See, I don't know.
So I guess maybe you were not very happy when this other lady came in with all these
that
children.
was, by all other people was the houses built like that in that village. So,
You said something about Susie, that she said she could cook. He didn't have to have somebody else come and do the cooking. I guess she didn't like to have a stepmother.
no, she didn't like stepmother. See, I was much smaller.
Yeah, so you didn't know one way or the other.
But,
So then how long was she around? This
well,
stepmother?
then my sister went to other people to, like babysit, or in the summertime, you go watch the cows on the field.
But she came home at night to sleep. Your sister?
No, when she went to some people, she stayed with them.
Like a hired hand.
Yeah, like a hired, like hired maid.
So then when she went away, then you were home alone with
Yeah.
a stepmother and four.
Yeah, but for the children. I don't know what happened to the boys. See, she had 3 girls, 1 boy. Was Lillian, Sophie, and Annie. Annie was the youngest. And the boy named John.
So they were all
And
pretty
and my-
young. How
yeah,
old was the youngest one? Younger than you?
The boy was
Annie.
the youngest.
Oh.
Yeah, and the girl was as old as me. First, Lillian
Oh, I
as
see.
old
The
as
boy
my
was
sister,
younger. something
like that. And another Sophie, she was about old as me. And
So-
the boy,
That's all right. I was just wondering, did they have any other children? Your father and your stepmother, did they have children?
they had a children. Tilly. She
Tilly?
lived in
Italy?
Yeah, Italy, but I know that's Takia.
Okay. So they had her.
That's my half-sister.
All
Because
right.
that's,
And who else did they have? That's all?
and she had another child, but that died after that. That child died. But I don't remember much, but actually I remember the little girl, something like me.
Now all this time you were home. You were not working. You were home.
I
You
was,
were a child.
well, I used to go to school.
How long did you go to school?
Well, I was, in first grade I was 2 years. In second grade I was 1 year. I passed out, didn't have no trouble. And I went to the 3rd grade. In 3rd grade, so I must have been in 2nd grade because when I was in the 1st grade, see, I had to go 2 years, I couldn't get chance. And my mother was worried. And after when I went to 2nd grade and I passed, I always thought to myself how my mother would be glad if
Oh,
she,
yeah. If she knew you
that
had gotten
I
it.
passed the grade so easy, she would be happy. And so I don't know how old I was. If I was
Yeah.
10, because when I was in 1st grade, 2 years, the 6, 7, and then 8 and the 2nd grade. And I didn't have no trouble to pass, and I always taught till that, so I was there around 10 years old.
Yeah, that must have been so sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Did your stepmother like you? Do you think she liked you? Was she-
Well, like a stepmother, her children
Were
was
better.
first. Yeah, and the clothes, like, let your father get you this, let your father, like the children go to school, they need things, and she always for her first.
Yeah.
But the
Do you
older,
remember if they had fights? Do you remember with your stepmother and your father? Do you remember the way they talked, or did they argue?
no, I never heard them arguing
No.
with anything. I never heard my mother, my first mother and my stepmother arguing with anything. But I know she was stepmother, was speaking.
How's your father? Was your father a nice man? Do you remember him?
Should I remember? If that wouldn't be my father, I wouldn't have been in
Well,
this country.
I mean, with so many years, all the
Yeah.
years go by, sometimes you don't remember.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, did he take you for a walk, or did he play with you?
Well, or when he used to work, when he used to, plant things, he had a horse to plow, to dig the
The cultivator.
field.
I think
So I remember holding the horse, and I remember horse riding on the horse. My father put me on. Yeah, and well, you see, he used to be watchman, and by the school, by the church, and he liked to tell like children some story, like little things, make them laugh, and so he used to like, take things easy like, see, and he was on the service, I think. Yeah, he was in the service, and that's why he came to this country. And after, when my mother passed away, then afterwards, well, two girls left, and the man feels lonely, sort of, and like she might have like pushed him to marry her.
You're talking about the stepmother. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you got a stepmother with these 4 children, and then they have another one that's 5 children. Now, what happened to this lady?
Well, then afterwards, my, having children, she had when he came to this country, she had a child. So
Oh, no, wait. Well, he came to this country?
my
Now this woman, the second wife that he had.
Yeah.
Now, where are you? Now you're growing up. The years are going by. Are you still at home? I'm losing you.
No, I was home. But the people used to talk. You see, like I would go on the field, like on fall, to watch the cows in the field. And the people say it's kind of fall, it's kind of a cold, you should have a warm clothes like boots on. And so I didn't have it. My sister went to school, she wore my boots because we live, stepsister. Because my youngest sister passed away when she was a little baby. So that's
So now you're not in school anymore.
Yeah.
The other kids are in school, but you're not going to school.
No. Well, at first, how I left the school, see, the lady came over, people was talking about the stepmother mistreats me, and the lady needed somebody to babysit for her, like, and she didn't live in the same village, she lived in a different village. And so her mother came over. Her mother was my godmother. So she came over and she asked me if I would go to her daughter to babysit, see, to stay there. And I didn't know much about the school, so I said, she said, when I could take you. Well, I said, well, when I go to school, when I go to school, I come to your house in case instead of going to school, I'm going to come to your house and you take me to your daughter. See? And that's what I did.
And you didn't go home anymore?
I went to stepmother thought that I went to school. But I went to that lady, and that lady took me to her daughter's house, and her daughter lived in a different village.
But what I'm saying is then you went to the daughter's house, and that's where you lived.
Yeah, and there
you didn't go back home.
I then had to go back home. Yeah. So this way I stayed there, and they took care of me.
So how old do you
But I
think you
didn't
were
go to
then?
school anymore.
How old do you think you were?
Well, I was in third grade, so I must have been 2 years in
years old?
2 years in first grade, 1 year in second grade, that's 3 years, and the fourth year I was in the third grade. See,
So you were still young. You were only like 9,
Yeah.
10 years old.
like 10 years old.
Okay, so
yeah.
you went to that lady's house.
So I went
And then
to
what
the-
happened to you?
Well, I stayed there like used to do, like thing. I didn't go to school anymore
Yeah.
because they need me to babysit and to help around the house and stuff.
Were they good to you?
But they did. And again, I don't remember being hungry or in the summertime. I used to do like other children, watch the baby, do this.
Like you were a member of the family.
Yeah. And afterwards, I was, so I stayed in there about 2 years. And after something happened to my eyes, I saw they didn't know what to do. They sent me to the hospital. When I got there, nobody came for me because my father was in this country.
Oh, you weren't even around when he came to America.
Yeah. Well,
Father was in this country.
when he came to this country, I think I was home yet. Oh yeah, I was home, but he went to this country because my stepmother had her children and me, and my sister, she was working for somebody else too then, she was not sure. And like 2 dogs or girls, they were working helping other people like my the children and doing other things, taking cows and fields and stuff. And that's the same way my sister did. So afterwards, my father went in this country, and what happened to me, I went to the other people that to stay to babysit, and something happened to me. I stayed there for some time, and I don't know what happened to my eyes, so I was in a hospital. And
So now your father is still in America,
yeah, my
and your
father
stepmother is
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
in.
And nobody came for me. So, when I got there, so from the hospital, they sent me on a field to the dogs, my geese, because they used to raise from
You mean at the hospital?
from the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah, they you see, the hospital was in the city, but in a village, the people they had a place, and after when I got better from the hospital, nobody came for me, and they thought they were going to send me to my entities there, and there in the country. See that that countryside. See the city where the hospital was is the name Rohatyn. And the village where I was by the people, they are watching the dogs and geese and there. Um, that was from the hospital because in the city they didn't have those a lot of water, and the field, the city was all built up, and so. That was, the name was Patok, from that village. And then I was there watching the geese and the dogs. For me, and nobody came for me, so they don't want to send me anywhere. So they, in daytime, they took me to their village there, the places. At nighttime, they brought me back to the hospital, on the afternoon. They brought me back. And somebody saw there, the lady saw, and she was asking me where I come from and how come that I am there walking around in there. So I said that I was sick and nobody came for me, so now nobody's coming for me, so they don't want to send me nowhere. So they send me to do something in the village. So that's why I watch the geese there and dogs. I never by the water, like you'll see. First they go to the fields and then
Okay, why did she want to know what you were doing?
To get lost, yeah. And so the lady was asking me what's my name, where I come from. So I said that I come from Zalano. What's my father's name? And it says Stefan Mikalo. And that village, my father's sister was married. She was living in that village. And when I said Mikalo, they know that who I was. And somebody wrote this little girl there from the hospital, baby watches the geese and dogs there, and that nobody came to her, that when she was sick, nobody comes to her, and so she goes out there to do that. And they must have known, somebody must have talked about my father, and so they rode here to Bridgeport. My father was in Bridgeport.
Oh.
Yeah. So what they did, of course, I was with the girl already, because uh, my 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 sister came here to Bridgeport when my father was here in this country because he sent for her, see. And so they invited, and then he then had away the money to come to Europe to see what happened to the child, but I'm not home. So they collected money and gave it to my father for to get to Europe to see how what
Who
happened.
collected it? Here in this country or?
In Bridgeport.
Okay, all right, so some,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And that's how we came to this country. But afterwards, after I was in this country already.
No, wait now, when he went back to see what happened to you.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Did he found you?
Then afterwards, he came home and he found me there, and then my stepmother was near that the people
Had
talk
told him,
about,
yeah.
and she said, so now when I came home, he brought me home, and she said, you're not going to make any trouble now between, the father and Saul, and people know that she mistreated me, and so they came and they said that I should come to stay by the door. So then I went away, and
And
my
then,
father couldn't do nothing.
no, did your father come back to this country? Did he stay there with the stepmother? He stayed
no,
there?
Well, I know he came back because that I know she said that he would make no trouble. He came back, and afterwards, but my sister, when he went to Europe, my sister was here, then he sent for her, because I know she came to Bridgeport. And when there wasn't many no people from the village where we was born, so my father went to Newark, brought my sister Susie to Newark. There where from our village people live in Newark, and from there he went to Europe. But afterwards he came back, because I remember when I got married, he was in this country, and my stepmother was in this country.
Ah. So anyway, then you went to stay with that daughter again.
Yeah.
And then you stayed with them for a while. Then how did you get to this country? Was that the last thing you did over there?
What was I doing? See, that was on a kind of let's see what happened. Where did I go? Oh, I was working for some people for a while. Yeah, that's right. I was working for some people that my aunt, I know the people in the city, and they was asking if she know anybody that could babysit, do like me sit on the house. And my aunt, they know the people, and she sent me, she brought me there, and that's how I got a job there in the city. And I was in the city, I wasn't home anymore. I didn't stay
So
home.
you took care of children and did housework and things like that?
Yeah.
And you lived there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after when my sister was in this country, and I was old enough to get to this country, so she sent for me.
She sent you the money?
Yeah, I sent a card, not the money, the card.
Oh, well, like a ticket.
Ticket, yeah, boat ticket. And that's how I came to this country. And I went to Newark, because she was in Newark then.
Do you remember how
When
long
my
it...
father was going to Europe back, so he brought her to the people there, and she got a job there because she used to work for the people, stay, so then sleep overnight.
Yeah.
And,
So
they
do you
used to
remember,
hire
do you remember how
monthly.
long it took you to get to this country? On the boat?
That took me over 2 weeks.
Over 2 weeks?
Yeah, I
Over
had to
2
wait.
weeks on the ship, you mean, or?
I had to wait in Hamburg a couple of days, and in different place I had to wait. Or that time that was fall, winter time like. Yeah, December, and it was bad weather, and then Europe, the bridges was broken, the train couldn't go through, and I had to wait in one place, and a station there, but the other people was
All
waiting
alone?
too. Well, I was alone with other people that was going somewhere.
Yeah, but nobody in your family or
But
no
not
friend.
in the family, no, I was.
How old do you
Thank
think
you.
you were?
Well, when I wasn't any older than 16 years old.
Oh,
But I had to say that I'm 18.
Yeah, but
because
you
I'm
weren't
not
18.
allowed to, say, 18.
So then
They
when
had
you
to make
finally,
yeah.
can you remember on the ship at all? Can you remember if it was rough?
Well, I remember we had to travel long, and it was slow boat. A slow boat was like a delivery boat, not a people boat.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah,
see, but it's a
yeah, it was
steam,
something
not
like that.
not a
See,
passenger
because,
liner.
You see, for my boat, the ice supposed to come when, because I couldn't get to the in time, because the bridges was broken and took time to,
So you had to
get
take,
to the place, yeah. And so I had
You
to
missed the
wait,
one that
yeah, yeah, wait in Hamburg a couple of days. But I know that the boat was slow, but they said the other day, get there 1 week and 9 days, but I was really long in there. I came, it was, well, I started sometime, it was fall, was December, and I came, it was a Russian Christmas. And the Christmas is 13 days after the, what you call it, Roman calendar. See, the other, the Russians, they call it Greek calendar, so 13 days later it goes. So I remember when I came to this country, the people was there, and by the people were, from my village, people used to live in Newark, New Jersey. And I came there, and it was just like at home because I knew the people.
So do you remember when you landed here? Was there somebody there to meet you? Can you remember that?
Not in Bridgeport.
New York.
Yeah, but New York, yeah, I remember people.
Like, was your father there or your sister there?
Well,
pick you up?
the people knew my people knew my people who I was, but my father was in here. My father was in Europe.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, but my sister was there, and my sister, I had an address to her, and was when I came, I showed them the address and the what you call it, and how they used to go with horses, you know, horse and wagon.
So did she
by
live
the
with
station.
people? Where did you go to live?
And from there I went, I didn't go right away. I was for a while stay with the people there. And, but I didn't stay long, about a week or 10 days or something like that. Then I got a job working for the dentist, like babysitting and cleaning, washing the dishes and cleaning the dentist office and so. And where that was, I don't know if you would remember which garden then. On Prince Street, on Prince Street, the twins were born there.
But what, that's where you worked for the dentist?
Yeah, you wouldn't remember Springfield Avenue, and that was corner Springfield Avenue and Prince Street. There was just something in the building like a Rian Bridge, but on this Main Street building that reminded me all the time. There was a dentist, and I was working for the dentist.
Did you live there with him? Did you live?
Yeah. When I lived in there, I then had to go and I had like day off and.
Does that mean that they fed you too? I mean,
Yeah.
this was your food. No, did you have to cook there too, or?
Well, I didn't have a cook because that was Jewish people, and Jewish people were very particularly kosher. You know, you can mix the dishes with milk, have an extra dish for milk and for meat, because that's.
You don't mix the two.
Yeah, and I don't know, I can't remember too much dishes with the, this is separate and that's separate, and that was all the time mixed up like that. And see, when they had a milk, they then had butter. You know, milk and butter and eggs. Eggs you could eat with anything. You know, like you have
They
meat
still
with
have
those-
those rules, you know.
Because the eggs is, the white belongs to the milk, and the
Dairy
yolk
products.
belongs to the meat. See? Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay, so then when you came to this country, did you meet any young men? Did you go out with anybody?
Well, I didn't go out with anybody at first. I didn't go out, I just worked, pay my sisters the ticket, you know, that she sent for
Yes,
me.
yeah.
And then before I owned a little money to buy me American clothes. So by
What do you mean by your American clothes? Was that different? Was it
well,
that different?
you know, a little different from the
It was.
sure. And then I was making $10 a month. So I stayed there a year, over a year, because I came in January, and I don't know, I didn't go right away to work, but I could stay about 2 weeks here. So that might be February. So, but I was working over a year in there. So for a couple months I get $10, and then $11, then $12. Then when it came, I was there over a year, and I thought that other people get more money, and a doctor said, he can't pay me anymore because he doesn't make too much more. You know, he used to charge 50 cents to pull the tooth. How many teeth how many patients you could get for, you know, for the family to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And the house was just like really on the East Main Street. The dentist office was there. So in the front was the office, and on the back was the rooms where they lived, kitchen and bedroom and like a dining room. They didn't have a parlor, but a dining room. And I used to, it just was like a closet. We had another place, a little like a closet. And in that room, dentist was fixing the teeth in that room, like, and there I used to sleep. So I didn't have my room there. Because I guess he didn't make too much money to make a big space. So that was corner Springfield Avenue and Prince Street. I worked in there over a year and a half.
So then when you asked him for a raise, then what happened?
Yeah. Then,
He said he couldn't afford it, so what did you do, leave?
I was 15, let's get $15. But I thought that other people get more, and I'm ashamed if I don't get much more. So then I left, and I got a job for a doctor again. So there I used to get more, $18 I used to get.
Well, when you were at the dentist, what language did you speak? When you came to this country, you couldn't speak any English, right?
I was sleeping in the people's house where I came to this country, so that I didn't have no slept.
Yeah, I'm saying, what language?
Language?
What language did you speak?
Or the lady was Ukrainian.
At the dentist?
But the dentist, he was Jewish, but I picked up the language somehow.
He spoke English, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you started to pick up the language.
Yeah, started to pick up as long as I know the numbers, and
And your
He
sister,
had
when you came here, did your sister speak English?
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, she was more than a year because she was in Bridgeport, and then after when my father was going to Europe, he brought her to Newark because in Bridgeport there was
Okay.
no people. That
So,
they-
so then you went to work for a doctor, and this doctor was
Yeah.
Ukrainian? Is that what you said?
Jewish.
No, the dentist was Jewish. Now you went to work for a doctor.
Doctor was Jewish.
The doctor was Jewish also.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
taught
the
you to
same
speak
doctor.
some more English.
Yeah, the same doctor that I had it when Willie was born. See, I didn't know no doctors. So I didn't know no doctors, but he know where I was working for a doctor. Because he used to come.
Now wait now, you're not married yet.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you're not married yet, right?
When?
Uh, you're
Yeah.
through working with the dentist. You're not married.
Oh, no.
No, okay. Now you go to work for a doctor,
Yeah.
and you're making $18 a week. You still don't go out with any men.
No, I didn't go out.
No dates,
I
okay.
didn't think. But how I met Pa, Pa was living in Waterbury, but he came to visit Sister Wilmina in Newark, and his brother, Gottlieb, that you remember, used to work in the factory, silver factory there.
What, in Newark?
Newark, yeah. But the supervisor had a store in New York. and saw supervisor's brother, and he was asking if anybody would, from the factory where his brother was working in a silver factory, would go to New York there to work for him. So this way, when Pat came to this country, he was working in a scissor factory because he got the job in their scissor factory. And that's how he got the job, because he knew the brother. And
In West, you mean?
and he
Was
got
that in
the,
West? Was
Uh,
that in West, in Newark?
in Newark, yeah,
In West?
yeah,
Okay.
in this. And then Pa was, of course, came to his sister. He was a little while there, and I don't know with who he was rooming, but afterwards, I guess, he was working with other Ukrainian people. And he asked if they would have any room. So they kept the roomers. So Pa went, and he was rooming him there, where my sister used to go meet, I used to go meet her, because she knew the people, but I didn't know the people, just for her, that she knew the Ukrainian people, and I used to go to meet them. And that was on Prince Street, only in different house. And that's how I, how the Pa thought they keep the roomers. So they were friendly, and he went to room in there. And I used to go to meet my sister Susie in there, and that's how I met Pa. I didn't go out with nobody. Nobody else, because I didn't think to get married. See, but we went once out and yeah.
Did he go out with Susie?
Oh no, he didn't go out with Susie.
I don't know
Susie.
why I had that idea that he went out with
he didn't go
Susie,
out with Susie.
and then he met you, and then he went out with you. No, huh?
Yeah, Susie had another
Susie,
boyfriend.
but she knew him.
Yeah, yeah. And the
So you
reason
mean that he was the only man you ever went out with?
I didn't go out with the different young fellas. I know the people, I know
But
the,
and then you met him, and you went out with him, and then you married him.
yeah.
Okay.
See, how I went out with him, because I used to like it, that I like it the German language. And
Now, did you understand the German
I
language
understand
now?
German, because when I was working in Europe, the man was German, lady was Polish, and that's how I got to learn German.
I see.
I-
Okay, so when you met him, could he speak English?
Oh yeah.
He
yeah.
spoke English.
Oh yeah, he spoke English, and this way, why I went out with him, because like I used to go just Sunday afternoon out, and well, when we go, and he used to like German churches, they used to have a vesper in German, and I understood, and I used to go with him, and I used to like it, because like going to church, that I thought that was very nice.
Now, that was not a Catholic church.
No, that
No, that
was
was a-
German Lutheran church.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I went to that church, and
you
I
liked
liked the language, and liked the church, I liked the people. And his sister Wilhelmina, she used to live right next to the church. They owned the house. I don't know if they owned the house or just rent the house, but they was living right next to the church there, and that's how I got acquainted. wasn't, because otherwise I would be afraid to go with strange men out. But with him, like people know him from the factory, that he was working, and that's how we got acquainted and how we got married. So, yeah. So afterwards, of course, I didn't have much money, so this way he was leaving afterwards. He moved further to it was leading to the German people, but they were German Catholic. And the name was Graf. Like you might remember, Medlin Graf is Willie's godmother. So he, see, at first, he rented a room there, and because afterwards when we was going together, he moved to different people closer. They was living closer by there. Because I don't know if you would remember where we used to live. Right next to the factory there was...
I remember that.
Yeah.
Now tell me, when you met him and then you started to go to church with him on Sunday afternoon,
Yeah.
probably took a walk
Yeah.
with him, right, and
Just
that
to go
sort of
over
thing.
to the
Now,
park.
did you go out with him a long time before you got married?
Well, we went out for a while. I know that was summer. We didn't go out too long.
And then you said that your father was here. When you got married,
Yeah.
who was at your wedding? Did your father give you away?
My father wouldn't come to the wedding. He wouldn't come because he was ashamed he don't understand German. And he said he didn't want to make me ashamed and he can talk.
Was he mad because
No, he
Pa
was-
was Lutheran and you were Catholic?
He didn't understood that. He didn't know. I didn't know that time, but the
Church is church.
Church is church.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand what it was, because like Polish people have their church, Ukrainian people
Yeah.
have their church,
Yeah.
and in America and this country, well, you have to go then when you have time, when you could go
And
anywhere.
what church is near you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
So you got married. Whatever happened to the picture that you have like this? Do you know?
no,
You see the
I
picture
don't,
like that?
I don't know.
Now you
I
had
don't-
one. I remember it, and it was shaped like that.
Yeah, around.
If
Yeah.
you ever think of who has it, I would like to know. Because
don't
I have
it.
one. I would love to have
Because
the other one.
I'm sure that Ruth had it,
Oh yeah.
but I wouldn't have it in picture.
Okay, now tell me about your wedding. It was in German,
Yeah.
and your sister
where I
was
got-
there.
Where I got married, what's the name was of the church? St. Matthew.
That was where in Newark.
Yeah, Newark, New Jersey. St. Matthew Church, and ministers was Pastor Kaya, where I was married. That was the pastor's name. The last name, but the first name I don't remember.
Okay, so your sister was there, and I guess all the rest of your friends. Did you have a party afterwards?
No, I didn't have a big party, because it was by the people where he was rooming, and those people were German people. He was rooming because he, didn't stay all the time in the same place. He moved here, he moved there, and so Well, so we stayed with those people for a while. So we then had our own rooms until we could afford to rent rooms and buy furniture. See, because Pa wasn't making much. She was making like $6 or $7 a week. And he had to pay for the board for going and buy clothes and things like that. And I didn't have too much money either if I was working because
So you didn't get paid very much.
I had to give my sister the money back and then buy the clothes and what I had, buy the wedding gown and things, wedding clothes. And my money went, so I had it. So he was rooming there with the people where he used to room with the people then.
Yeah.
when
Now
he
those
got
were the
married.
Grafs, right?
Graf,
Now,
yeah.
I don't know why this is, but I have a picture in my mind. I don't know if I ever went to that house or not, but I picture like a two-family house. And do these people live on the second floor? Can you remember? I
No,
don't know
I-
why, but in my mind, I feel like there were these steps on the outside or something.
On the first floor. On the
First floor.
floor.
Well, I was very young anyway, so I don't even, I can't really remember. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking that.
Or that was the house of the
Oh, was your sister married before you?
No, I was married twice.
Ah.
Yeah. And she was older.
So then, you said she was going out with some young man. Was that the same man that she married, or did she marry somebody
oh, no,
else?
No, then they broke up and they was talking all this outside. And I guess
Well, she
that's-
must have gotten married pretty nearly after you,
Oh,
because
yeah.
Wilhelmina and Mary are almost the same age,
Yeah, yeah.
I think. Because Catherine is about the same age as Emma,
Yeah.
and then Mary is, maybe
Yeah,
a year
yeah.
younger than Wilhelmina, but not too much.
Well, you see, people are thinking, oh, well, she goes out, why don't she get married, run around with that fella, and so, and this way, and you got married, get married.
People are always ready to talk, aren't they?
Yeah, and how she got married, my stepsister was married in Jamaica, and that's how she got acquainted, with visiting stepsister and so on. And she got married to her stepsister's cousin.
Your
were-
sister
they were
married your
cousins.
stepsister's cousin?
Yeah,
Oh,
stepsister's husband cousin,
oh, I
Yeah.
see.
not her. Yeah.
I
So they come from the same
Oh,
village.
see. You
or
said that
somehow.
your father had 4 wives.
What?
You told me that your father had 4 different wives.
My father had 2. My mother was the first,
Yeah.
and my stepmother was the second. But she had 4 children.
Oh, but he didn't have any more wives after that.
Oh no.
No. Oh, I thought you said before that
Oh
he had
yeah.
4.
Yeah. She,
4.
my
Or maybe were
stepmother-
you talking about Pa?
That was
Maybe you were talking about Pa.
Pa's father.
Yeah. Okay, he's the one that had 4
Yeah,
wives.
Pa's father.
Yeah, I knew I heard that somewhere. Brother.
And Pa's mother was his father's second wife, because she was widow when she married Schmidt. And she had, Gottlieb Johnson,
Yes.
and Wilhelmina Johnson, the queer, the sister that he had in
Yeah.
West New Jersey. They were brother and sister.
Oh, I see. They
same
were the
brother and
oldest.
sister,
Okay.
yeah. So, my pa's father was their stepfather.
Okay, so he was a Schmidt.
Afterwards,
And then from Cheshire, the Schmidt's there, August Schmidt. Was that his real brother? Same mother, same father?
Half brother.
Same father.
The same father, but different mother. She was a widow, and
He was a widower.
yeah. So that's how we.
Boy, what mixed up family.
Yeah. But
I guess Pa didn't have it too bad in the old country, in Europe. I don't remember him saying anything about his stepfather or anything like that.
Well, he didn't have a stepfather. He had a father.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
He
he
had a
just
real
had a
mother
stepmother.
and stepchildren,
Yeah.
half brothers and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. See, like Pauline and August Schmidt. They are from the same father,
Oh,
but
I
different
see.
mother.
I
But
see.
they are real brother and sister, Pauline and
yes,
the
I see.
father. They were
So
the
then
same.
the Wilkies were
Yeah.
like Elsie Schmidt's. That was her real aunt. No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so, like stepsister, like Pa's half-sister from Newark, they were just like related, no one there, but they were in the blood relation.
I understand.
See?
I understand.
And Pa was a blood relation after the.
So then after when your father was here at that time, did he stay in this country or did he go back to Europe with his wife?
My father.
Yeah.
Oh, my father. Well, my mother went to Europe, and that's when my father she don't want him why my stepmother came to this country, because she came to this country because she thought that he lives on, he's gonna go maybe get acquainted with somebody else, like. So she came here and she stood a while, and after she didn't wanna, I guess miss the children and come and so she wanted to go with us, see if she wants my father to go to Europe, or otherwise he would have stayed here.
Oh, so he did go back.
Yeah,
okay.
so he went back to Europe.
So then you never saw him anymore.
No, I didn't hear from him.
I bet you never even heard when he died or anything.
No, never, because there was, I remember, was big war with carry on, what they used to do, and wartime, they used to go and drag the people to the swamp and bring them there. Yeah, my cousin used to say, maybe you heard it, Sate Halushka.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she used to tell me, she said it was awful bad, when they had war, like in German they say Krieg, that means the war. Yeah. So she said it was awful bad and there, and she said.
Well, because of the Russians or what?
What?
Who? Why was it so bad? Because of whom? Because
on the kind of there was one, Austria was fighting with, I don't know, Russia.
I suppose everybody wanted that piece of land where your people were.
And,
Was that the Ukraine?
well, that was Ukrainian, those people, the Ukrainian
Well, that
people.
wouldn't that be the land they call the Ukraine? There's land, and that's what they call it, Ukraine. And that's the part where the Polish wanted it, and the Russians wanted it, and the poor people that lived there, they don't care who owned it. You know, they didn't care what country, as long as they lived there.
Yeah,
But
they
if you get in the
lived
way, then you...
But you see, like in our village, all Ukrainian people, I understand they all used to speak Ukrainian. Even Jewish people speak Ukrainian. But they kept their own holiday, Jewish people.
Sure.
And Polish people might have kept their own holiday too, but they then had a church, and their kind of a church. Well, they went on Sunday when they had a chance to go to the church, to Ukrainian church, because that's something like, and they used to. But, and the spaces, there was more German people, like in the city was different kind of people. So there was a German church, and there was a Polish church, it was Ukrainian church. Yeah, and big city. But in the little city, just Polish church, and German wasn't so easy to have to understand.
Tell me some more about when you were first married.
But
Tell me some more about when you were first married.
well, when I told you how I got acquainted with Pa, my sister used to go to those people and visiting them, and I used to go there, visit them, visit my sister by those people, and and Pa was rooming in there, and now that's how I got acquainted with Pa. So I got acquainted with him, and I liked the German language, and I felt like he was holy man. He used to take me to his church.
Oh, he fooled
so I
you.
thought, yeah, and that's how it was. And like a young girl doesn't understand too much and doesn't see much. And
You thought he was wonderful.
goes
He was
on
quite a
his-
bit older than you,
Yeah, at least 6 or 7 years.
at least.
Yeah. Because I wasn't in more than 18 when he got married, and he was about 26. Because he wasn't working in
So
the
that's
water
8 years.
body.
Yeah,
and
he
then
was about eight years older than you, if I remember.
Yeah, but, well, between 6 and 7.
Was he in this country longer than you?
Oh,
When
yeah.
you met him, he had already been here?
Oh, yeah, yeah. See, he was